Hey everyone, and welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. My name is Sophia, and today I'm going to be sharing a card using the Playful Penguins dies by Spellbinders and Simon Hurley, and the Frozen Flurries dies as well. So this comes with two dies. One is just a square and the other one is just the snowflakes. You can either use them together or you can just cut out these snowflakes. So today I'm going to be using both of the dies for my background. At first I thought I'd use a really nice sparkly paper for my background, but then I was having a lot of trouble cutting it because it was too thick, and I just found the dies weren't cutting that paper properly. I guess I could have tried to use a shim, but with my regular embossing folder, it just wasn't working. So this die is the size of the front of a card base, so you would be using the entire thing unless you decided to cut it out and use it in strips or something like that. And so I thought that maybe I would just do that too. So yeah, I am gonna go ahead and get started. So I decided to create my background. For that, I'm using some turquoise ink here, and it's a little bit of a darker color, and that's what I wanted. So I'm just gonna get that and start brushing it onto my cardstock, and then I'm just gonna speed through this part so you don't have to see me slowly brushing that on. But yeah, I wasn't very concerned about how it was looking because I wanted it to have different colors in different spots, not just one color everywhere. And so you'll notice some of it is dark, some of it is a little bit lighter, and that's kind of what I was going for though. So I just put that ink on all over. Now I don't have this in the distress ink. This is just one of my old stamp pads that I have, but I really wanted to use this color. So that's what I started with, and then what I'm gonna do is get some ink onto my block and use a watercolor brush. This is my number 4 brush. Depending on the size of brush you're going to use, you're going to get different size for your splatter. So if I used my number 6, those dots would have been a little bit larger, but I was going for a little bit smaller of dots, and so I used number 4. If you wanted to get even smaller than that, you would use your size 2 brush if you have that. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some metallic gold. So I have a metallic palette here, and I'm just grabbing my gold watercolor out of there, and I'm just going to go and sprinkle that on top of everything. And I thought that would make my snowflake background have a really magical touch to it. I always like adding a little bit of gold to everything, so I wanted gold. And then I also used white because you all know that snow is white and it has to be on every winter card, right? Snowflakes are white. So I splattered some white on there, and because that's metallic, it actually looks like a pearl color up close. If you want to see a finished image of this card, you can head over to the ScrapbookPal Instagram page, and they'll have like a nice image on there where you can see the background really nicely. So now I'm just going to take this and run it through my die cutting machine. So this is what I ended up with, a whole bunch of snowflakes and my background with all of the snowflakes popped out. I'm going to use the background part with the snowflakes popped out, and I decided to use these snowflakes for another card. So I kind of just set them off to the side. So yeah, this is going to be the background, and it's going to go right on top of this white card base, and it's just going to have that really magical effect there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is cut out my penguins, or my penguin. I decided to use the penguin with the little knitted sweater. I thought he was so cute. So I'm going to get some white and black cardstock. That background piece, I'm just going to cut it out in black because there's no point coloring black on top of white. And the rest of the pieces, because I kind of wanted them to all be different pieces, I did use just my basic white cardstock. So now I've got everything cut out. Here's all the pieces. Those are just some extra feet there. There's some dots for the nose and the cheeks. I really don't do well with the really tiny dies, and so for the cheeks, I just later ended up using just some pink marker. So for my first color here, I'm using R85 for that sweater. That top bit that I did there is the collar of her neck, and the two tiny pieces are the little arms that kind of stick out later. So I'm just blending that out with R83, and then for the final color on that sweater, I used R81. This is my favorite pink of all of the Copics. It's a cool toned pink, and it's hard. I feel like it's hard to find a pink that you really like. I like R20 as well. That's a nice warm one, but the R83 series is probably one of my favorite pinks. So now I'm just going to assemble this penguin, and so I'm putting the top layer of the penguin on, which is like the belly part. And there's actually little grid lines on the black part of the penguin, so you know exactly where that white piece is supposed to go. And then we're going to start to assemble the sweater next. So I just took the sweater and I'm kind of just laying it on the penguin to see how it all looks, especially those little sleeves. I wasn't entirely sure how to put those on initially. But yeah, so I'm just going to put the collar on first, and then I'm going to glue my sweater right onto the penguin and then tuck the arms in afterwards. I kind of found that to be the best way to do it. So I've already tucked those in, and now I'm just coloring her party hat. So she's also going to have a pink hat, and then I did all the way to the top just because we have this additional piece for the top of the hat, the little pom-pom, and I just decided to leave that bit white. So I'm just going to glue that right onto her head. For my feet, I used Y17 and YR04, I believe, just to shade it just a tiny bit, and then I glued those feet right on to that little penguin. The other two penguins are really cute too. I think if I would have done a sideways card, it would be cute to use all of them, but I just kind of wanted one. So now I'm taking two circle dies, and I'm just going to cut them out, the back one in gold and the front one in white, and just that little bow for my gift box that I had initially cut out there. So I'm just kind of setting some pieces to the side, and now I'm going to color in my gift box using some blue-green Copics here, and I will list all of the items that I've used under this video. So if you're like, oh, I really like that color, you can just see what I used in the blue-green and then head over to ScrapbookPal and pick those colors up for yourself. So now I'm just gluing this gift box together really quickly, and then I'm gonna stick that little bow right in the center of the gift box. So now we're just gonna assemble the card, and for this part, I'm just gonna put, oh, I missed a little piece of snowflake there, so good catch. And now I'm going to just put some glue on the back of this. Now I just put spots of glue, like little dots, instead of smearing it everywhere, just because this die is so intricate. You don't want to smear the glue on, or else it'll squeeze out through the sides when you lay it onto your card base. And nobody really likes a sticky card, right? So I'm just using little dots and filling them in the blank spots on that panel there. And then once I was comfortable with how much glue I had in there, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue that onto my card base. There we go. And I did find that maybe I cut my card base a little bit bigger, but this was just a little shy on the sides, like for size. And so I tried to make sure that I centered that onto the card base. So even if there was a little bit of white space on each side, I was fine with that because it kind of almost looked like a border. So now I'm just going to use my big glass block and put that on top and set that off to dry. And then I'm going to assemble the rest of my card here. So I'm going to take my my white circle and glue that onto my gold card base. And for that, again, I'm just using my liquid glue. This is my favorite liquid glue to use. I find it just doesn't clog that easily. I did try the Barely Art Precision glue, and I found that that clogged really quickly on me, and so I went back to this one. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put my penguin on my assembled circles there. And for that, I'm just using scraps of foam that I had because I was just trying to finish them off. And then I'm also going to put my gift box on, and I'm just going to put that right next to her, kind of like the picture on the Playful Penguins die set, like the picture that it came with. And then I decided it was looking a little bit empty there, and so I added some of those tiny snowflakes back onto that little blank space there. So now again, I'm going to use liquid glue. I thought about using foam squares, but I didn't want it to pop off of the card so much that it wouldn't fit into my envelope. I'm just trying to center it there to make sure that I'm putting that on straight. And then for the very last part of my card, I'm using this greeting from my stash that says Merry Christmas, and I'm just gonna stamp it in pink. And then I don't know what happened to the last part of my video, but I did fussy cut it out and then just put a little pink strip behind it to make it look kind of like twine. Anyway, so thanks for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed my card. If you have, please subscribe to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Make sure to go check out what our other designers have been up to. They always create some gorgeous things, and I hope y'all have a good weekend. Bye!